We all know that after January 31st, 2020, the UK left the European Union, and everyone assumes that was the end of it. But there's one interesting question nobody asks. Every country in the EU has representation in the European Parliament, and every new country that joins the EU also gets seats in it. So what happens when a country leaves the Union? In this video, we'll cover, first, the history of the UK and the EU. Second, how Brexit came about. Third, the 2016 referendum. And finally, what happened to the UK's 73 seats in the European Parliament and how the EU redistributed the vacant seats. In 1973, the UK joined what was then the European Economic Community, which we could call the first version of today's EU. Just 2 years later, in 1975, there was a first referendum on whether the UK should end its membership in the Union. But back then, 67% voted yes to staying. What does referendum mean? A direct vote in which citizens decide on a specific social or political issue. In the years that followed, when the Schengen area was created, the UK didn't join it. As for the euro, the UK negotiated a special opt-out in the 1992 Maastricht Treaty, allowing it to keep its own currency and never adopt the euro. How Brexit came about. It all started in 2015, with new elections in England. At the time, Conservative Party leader David Cameron was running to become Prime Minister again. But here's the crucial part. Cameron made a very risky pledge during his campaign. To ease internal tension with the Eurosceptic wing of his own party and secure a stronger chance of a majority, he announced that if he won the election, he would hold a referendum on whether the country should stay in the Union. The Conservatives won a majority in Parliament. Cameron was then left with no choice but to announce the date for the referendum on whether the UK would remain in or leave the EU. The 2016 referendum. Following Cameron's campaign promise to hold a referendum on the UK's EU membership, he finished renegotiating the UK's relationship with the EU in February 2016. On February 20th, he announced that the referendum would take place on June 23, 2016. And that's when David Cameron outplayed himself. The result was, for leave, 51.9%. For remain, 48.1%. The result was clear. Following this referendum, the UK would have to leave the EU. Cameron's reaction to the referendum was to resign as PM, and to this day, England is still dealing with the political instability caused by one broken campaign promise. What happened to the UK's 73 seats in the European Parliament? After England left the Union on January 31st, 2020, about 3.5 years after the referendum, all 73 British MEPs automatically lost their mandates the very next day. Once those 73 seats were vacated, 27 of them were redistributed among other EU member states. The redistribution wasn't random. It followed a principle called digressive proportionality, meaning countries with larger populations get more seats overall, but smaller countries still get proportionally more seats than strict population math would give them. France and Spain gained the most, with 5 seats each. Italy and the Netherlands got 3 each. Ireland got 2, and the remaining 9 countries got 1 seat each. The other 46 seats were kept in reserve. As a result, the total number of seats in the European Parliament dropped from 751 to 705. If you liked the video, you can subscribe to my channel and watch more of my videos.